Think you know what marriage means? What it means to grow up? Or how money works? Forget everything. In Papua New Guinea, those ideas are flipped completely on their heads. Papua New Guinea will challenge everything you thought you knew about culture, marriage, language, and coming of age. This is a place where freedom is symbolized by a cooking pot, and adulthood begins not with age, but with blood. Welcome to 10 unique and bizarre facts about Papua New Guinea, a land where the modern world is distorted in the most unexpected ways. And the very first fact will leave you stunned. Papua New Guinea, where every village speaks its own language. With a population of just 9 million, yet home to over 850 indigenous languages, Papua New Guinea isn't just a country, it's humanity's last living language library. Here, stepping into a new village doesn't just change your scenery, you might be entering an entirely different linguistic world. There are no borders or fences. Language itself is the invisible boundary between communities. Why are there so many languages? For thousands of years, tribes have lived in isolation among rugged mountains and dense jungles. No trade, no communication, just language, standing as a shield protecting cultural identity. So, how do they understand one another? Through Tokpisin, a Creole born from English, German, and local tongues. It might sound simple, but it carries a deep colonial history and showcases the creative will to survive and connect. Papua New Guinea reminds the world of one vital truth. You don't have to be the same to live in harmony. When respected, differences become humanity's most precious heritage. If you spent just 1 month among 850 languages, how many do you think you'd learn? Drop your guess in the comments and tag that friend who talks a lot but never seems to learn a single new language. And if you thought this linguistic diversity was the strangest thing here, wait until you discover how marriage is defined in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, where women choose their husbands and a cooking pot marks the end. In certain tribal communities of Papua New Guinea, the traditional notion of patriarchy, so deeply rooted in many societies around the world, is turned completely on its head. Here, it's the women who hold the reins when it comes to love, relationships, and marriage. They choose who to love, who to live with, and, most importantly, when to walk away from a relationship without needing anyone's permission. There are no lavish wedding dresses, no ceremonial aisles, and no need for signatures on a marriage certificate. The ritual of becoming husband and wife is astonishingly simple. If a woman allows a man to spend the night with her, and they share breakfast the next morning, they are considered officially married. This modest morning meal carries profound symbolic weight, representing mutual consent and personal freedom. And if that consent disappears, the woman has the absolute right to end the relationship on the spot. No questions asked, no judgment passed. She simply walks away, taking only one item with her, her cooking pot. It might seem like a small and trivial object, but in the culture of these communities, the pot is far more than just a kitchen tool. It represents independence, ownership, and the authority to leave. No divorce papers, no battles over property, no legal hurdles, and no scrutiny from society. The right to love, to end it, and to start anew all rest in the woman's hands. This isn't just gender equality, it's a life philosophy that marriage is not about possession, but about voluntary connection and the freedom to part ways. Think that's shocking? Guess what's coming next? Just wait until you hear number 3. Goroka and Mount Hagen, where tribes become warriors and festivals become legends. Goroka and Mount Hagen, names that echo through the misty highlands of Papua New Guinea, are not just places. They are the heartbeats of ancient identity. Here, more than 100 tribes gather, transforming themselves into wild, mythical warriors for what may be the most primal celebration known to humanity. This isn't a music festival. It's not a carnival. It's an epic, living ceremony where ancestral pride bursts forth in every feather, every blood-red streak of face paint, and every thunderous warrior dance that shakes the ground. People don't just come to watch. They come to witness a culture that lives, breathes, and roars against the silence of oblivion. Each tribe is a universe of its own, carrying sacred legends, singing songs in languages the rest of the world has never heard. You'll see hand-carved wooden masks, traditional Kinu canoes gliding over the water like the return of ancient spirits, warriors with eyes that pierce through time, and women chanting age-old hymns around blazing fire circles. This festival is more than celebration. It's a cultural declaration, a defiant proclamation that despite being scattered across mountains and centuries, over 800 tribes share one truth: they refuse to be forgotten. Goroka and Mount Hagen aren't just destinations, they are living stages of tribal memory. Here people don their traditional armor not to wage war on enemies, but to battle the creeping shadow of modern-day forgetfulness. But not all tribes choose to roar under the spotlight. Some emerge from the shadows, silent, haunting, like a living curse awakening in the heart of the jungle. The Asaro people, the mud ghosts of Papua New Guinea's deep forests. You won't believe your eyes when you see them. Figures cloaked in ghostly gray mud, their heads topped with pale white clay masks, hollow eyes staring into nothingness, and twisted grins that seem pulled from a nightmare. These are the Asaro people, keepers of one of Papua New Guinea's most chilling and awe-inspiring rituals, the transformation into vengeful spirits. Legend has it that during an ancient battle, the Asaro were defeated and forced to flee. They hid in the muddy riverbanks, covering themselves in pale clay. As night fell, they emerged slowly from the sludge, silent, spectral. Believing they were being haunted by angry ghosts, their enemies panicked and fled. Thus, the legend of the mud ghosts was born, not just as a tale of survival, but as a mythical form of psychological warfare. Today, this eerie transformation is no longer used in combat, but the Asaro still preserve it as a vital expression of their tribal spirit. Each year, during Highland cultural festivals, they reenact the mud ghost ritual, not with words, not with music, but with silence. Figures drift through swirling mist, their blank stares piercing through clay masks. And strangely enough, it's this very silence that leaves thousands of onlookers utterly spellbound. The clay mask is far more than a theatrical prop. It is a symbol of survival, of a people who once lost a battle, but never lost their will. It's a memory of nights spent hidden in mud, of turning shame into strength, fear into power, and beyond that, it is a reminder. Identity does not need to be explained. It only needs to endure. In a world that increasingly turns its back on indigenous traditions, the Asaro remain, silent sentinels in the forest depths of Papua, living spirits that remind humanity of something more terrifying than death itself, forgetting where you came from. While the Asaro use legends to preserve memory, elsewhere in Papua, people rely on something unexpected to define life itself: pigs, not just livestock, but a unit of value for an entire existence. Papua New Guinea, where a pig is worth more than gold. In most parts of the world, pigs are simply livestock, meat for the table. But in Papua New Guinea, pigs play an entirely different role. They are living currency, a symbol of social status, a form of dowry, and above all, an actual member of the family. Forget about gold bars, paper money, or bank balances. In many highland communities of Papua, a person's worth is measured by the number of pigs they own. Want to get married? Bring pigs. Need to resolve a deadly feud between clans? Offer pigs. Building a house, hosting a funeral, or looking to elevate your standing within the tribe? You'll need pigs. But pigs here aren't treated like ordinary animals. They're not kept in pens. They live right inside the house, sharing meals and sleeping on the floor with the family. They're given names like Big Sister, Youngest Child, or Grandmother. Village children cuddle them like pets, while adults care for them with genuine affection and attention. During major ceremonies, pigs are dressed in vibrant floral skirts, adorned with beaded necklaces, and even have their hooves painted with colorful powders. They're not just paraded through crowds, they're celebrated as living emblems of honor, pride, and clan identity. Sometimes an entire festival is held for the sole purpose of honoring a single pig. And the most surprising part? In some regions, disrespecting a pig, like touching it without permission or killing it outside the proper rituals, can lead to violent conflict between communities. To the people of Papua New Guinea, pigs are more than just animals. They are sacred bridges between the living and the ancestors, symbols of fortune, bonds of commitment between families, the most valuable gifts one can give, and the deepest form of apology. So, if one day you see an entire village kneeling in silence before a pig adorned with garlands at a wedding or a funeral, don't laugh. In Papua New Guinea, to respect a pig is to respect culture, ancestry, and peace. In a world obsessed with dollars and Bitcoin, Papua New Guinea quietly preserves an ancient but profound belief. True value lies not in money, but in trust, connection, and the living beings we lovingly call by name. And while pigs may define status, becoming a true man in Papua means enduring a harsh initiation, where skin is torn to give birth to courage. Haus Tambaran, where boys must die to become men. In many tribes across Papua New Guinea, growing up as a man isn't just a matter of age. It's a process of symbolic death and rebirth, carried out through pain, blood, and sacred rituals inside a spiritual structure known as the Haus Tambaran. This is not a place to live. It's the cultural soul, a spiritual training ground, and a true school for warriors. From early adolescence, boys leave behind their mothers, friends, and the outside world to spend months in isolation within the Haus Tambaran, a solemn space richly carved with sacred symbols of ancestral spirits and totemic animals. Here they don't just learn hunting or survival skills, they're taught what it means to belong to a community, to understand duty, honor, and the soul of their tribe. The most intense and sacred moment of this journey is the crocodile skin tattoo ritual, a painful yet deeply meaningful rite. Hundreds of cuts are etched into the young men's skin, then filled with ash and medicinal herbs to form raised patterns that resemble the rugged hide of a crocodile. In local belief, the crocodile is a symbol of strength, the spirit of the rivers, and the power of transformation. When the ritual ends, the boy is no longer a child. He is now a warrior, a man ready to protect, lead, and dedicate himself to his people. The Haus Tambaran is more than an architectural marvel. It's a forge of identity, where the body is tested, the spirit is purified, and the soul is bound to its roots. In a modern world where adulthood is often reduced to a number on paper, Papua New Guinea reminds us, becoming a true man may require blood, tears, and an unshakable faith in ancestral legacy. And in Papua New Guinea, it's not just humans who must adapt to survive. Nature itself seems to rebel in its own wild, untamed way. The tree kangaroo, when nature rewrites the rules. You've probably seen kangaroos hopping across the Australian outback. Now forget that image entirely. In Papua New Guinea, a land where nature seems untouched by any preset rules, there exists a creature so unusual. It feels like something out of a dream. Meet the tree kangaroo, a species of kangaroo that doesn't live on the ground, but was born to climb trees, swing from branches like a monkey, twist and bend like a circus performer, and look so charmingly unreal, you'd think it leapt straight out of a forgotten fairy tale deep in the jungle. With a chubby build, velvety brown fur, and wide, innocent eyes, the tree kangaroo is more than just an animal. It's a living wonder. In the treetops, it moves with effortless grace, leaping from limb to limb, as if defying gravity, like a dancer gliding through the canopy of the tropical rainforest. But on the ground, it transforms into something entirely different. Slow, clumsy, and unsure, moving cautiously like a creature that doesn't quite belong to the earth. This strange contrast, wildly agile above, awkwardly lost below, makes the tree kangaroo one of the planet's most extraordinary examples of evolution. In a world that often follows rules, the tree kangaroo is a reminder that nature doesn't always play by them. Sometimes it writes its own script, one branch at a time. Kimbe Reef, a diver's paradise. If the ocean had a living treasure, unprotected by guards or barbed wire, but preserved through isolation and purity, it would be Kimbe Bay, a quiet gem tucked along the shores of Papua New Guinea. It lacks the glitz of the Maldives or the buzz of Bali, yet Kimbe Bay holds a secret that the entire marine world envies. Over 70% of the planet's coral species are found here, in a modest bay barely known on mainstream travel maps. The water here is so crystal clear, you can see down to 40 meters with your naked eye. No binoculars, no cameras needed, just a heart ready to be amazed. And when you dive beneath the surface, you're not just swimming among vibrant coral gardens. You're gliding through history. Scattered between sandy seafloors and coral ridges lie the sunken remains of World War II warships, still resting where they fell. Covered in moss, slowly consumed by coral, they seem frozen in time. Rusted cannons, shattered hulls, no longer relics of conflict, but foundations for new life. Tropical fish dart between the wrecks, sea turtles nest nearby, and reef sharks glide silently through, life thriving within the bones of the past. Kimbe Bay isn't just a dive spot, it's a living museum, a sanctuary of biodiversity, and proof that even from the ruins of war, nature finds a way to bloom. In Kimbe Bay, nature and memory breathe as one. Every coral branch is more than just life. It's a testament to rebirth. Every sunken ship isn't an ending, but the beginning of a new ecosystem. Here you can witness something few ever do. The Earth's most awe-inspiring beauty often lies just beneath its quietest surfaces. This isn't a destination for those who skim the surface. Kimbe Bay is for those willing to dive deep, both in body and in spirit. Because here, you don't just see fish, you feel the ocean's fragility. You don't just spot wrecks, you hear whispers of history. The blue of Kimbe Bay isn't the blue of brochures. It's the untouched blue, the wild blue, the kind of blue that hasn't yet been tamed. And beneath that blue lies a world like no other, as raw as the dawn of time, as mythical as a dream yet to be written. Unusual modes of transport, when the journey becomes the adventure. Flying to the market, landing on a patch of grass, and paddling a canoe back home. Welcome to Papua New Guinea, where transportation isn't just about getting from point A to B. It's an adventure in itself. In a country carved by rugged mountains, tangled rainforests, and a near-total lack of roads, travel is more than a matter of convenience. It's a daily survival strategy. And Papua New Guinea has solved this challenge in a way few others have, by turning tiny propeller planes into lifelines of connection. Forget massive airports or paved runways. Here, miniature aircraft take off and land on grassy fields, riverbanks, or clearings deep in the jungle. Sometimes, pilots don't even land. They simply drop supplies by rope from the sky. Bags of rice, medicine, even piglets, falling like care packages from heaven. For many locals, a simple trip to the market might involve 3 modes of transport: flying out from a remote village to a small town, hiking down to a riverside, and paddling a dugout canoe home through winding jungle channels straight out of an 80s adventure film. Every trip is a spectacular journey through untamed nature, and every vehicle is a testament to human creativity in the face of extreme geography. Here, getting around isn't a daily routine. It's a daring feat, and that's what makes Papua New Guinea so remarkable. Wild, inconvenient, but incredibly inspiring in its ability to adapt to a world where straight lines rarely exist. Now imagine this. If you had to fly, hike, and paddle just to pick up groceries, what would you bring home? A bag of rice? Or maybe find yourself lost in the next village over? Drop a comment below and tell us, what's the one thing you definitely go the distance for? A culinary tradition like no other. No gas stoves, no frying pans, no electric ovens. In Papua New Guinea, cooking goes straight back to the earth, literally. Their signature dish, mumu, isn't just food. It's the spiritual heartbeat of their traditional cuisine, prepared in a way that feels more like a sacred ritual than a recipe. Mumu isn't a single dish. It's an entire cooking ceremony. It begins with digging a deep pit in the ground and heating volcanic stones until they're glowing red. Layers of pork, sweet potatoes, wild bananas, native greens, and rich coconut cream are then stacked carefully, wrapped in fresh banana leaves, and buried beneath the hot stones. The pit is sealed with earth, leaving everything to slowly cook underground for hours. When it's finally uncovered, a fragrant wave rises, a wild, earthy, almost haunting aroma that feels like the forest itself is singing. In daily life, sweet potatoes are the rice of Papua New Guinea. People often eat 2 to 3 tubers a day, not just to fill their stomachs, but as a way to stay connected to the land that has sustained their people and culture for generations. And if you're ever invited to share a meal of roast pork, know that you're part of something deeply meaningful. This isn't just dinner, it's a major event, a wedding, a Thanksgiving, a reconciliation between clans. Roast pig here is more than food. It's a symbol of respect, unity, and communal honor. There are no fancy restaurants, No elaborate plating in Papua New Guinea's traditional food scene, but every dish tells a story of the land, the ancestors, and the way people live in harmony with the earth. In the smoky heat of buried stones and the charred scent of banana leaves, you'll realize you're not just eating. You're tasting history, served from the heart of the earth. The modern world often teaches us to chase speed, dollars, and digital progress. But Papua New Guinea quietly reminds us that true value lies in forgotten languages, in animals called by name, and in rituals that need no audience. What about you? If you had to spend a week in Papua New Guinea, would you choose to live with the Asaro mudmen? Or share breakfast with a woman who has the power to choose her husband? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget, if you found these stories fascinating, hit like, share this video, and subscribe so you won't miss more incredible truths that sound like fiction, but aren't. These 10 unique facts about Papua New Guinea are just the beginning. The world still holds strange and beautiful corners waiting for us to uncover. See you in the next adventure.